Long before the cities, before the roads, before recorded time as we know it, there were the pyramids. Towering against the skyline of ancient Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood as a defiant monument to mystery. Nearly 4,500 years old, it is the only remaining wonder of the ancient world. And yet, even today, we don't fully understand how or why it was built, or what secrets still lie buried beneath its perfect geometry. Our story begins not with pharaohs or gods, but with questions. Because for all the textbooks and tours, the Great Pyramid doesn't make sense. Not fully. Not in how it was constructed, not in how precise it is, and certainly not in how many anomalies have been discovered inside it. To walk up to it is to feel small. Not just in size, but in time. Over 2 million limestone blocks, some weighing more than 80 tons, make up the structure. Its base is nearly a perfect square, and its sides align almost perfectly with true north, off by just 3/60th of a degree. In fact, it's more accurately aligned than the Royal Observatory in Greenwich. How did ancient builders with no modern instruments pull this off? That's where our mystery deepens. Some historians claim it was built over 20 years using a vast labor force, copper tools, and sleds. But modern engineers have repeatedly tested those methods, and most agree it shouldn't have worked. The level of precision, the weight of the blocks, and the logistics of raising them over 400 feet into the air without cranes or pulleys, it's not just improbable. It's borderline impossible. In the 1800s, British explorer and engineer Sir William Flinders Petrie attempted the first scientific survey of the pyramid. What he found stunned even him. The internal chambers were cut with such accuracy that even modern laser tools struggle to replicate them. And then there's the curious design of the interior. Take the King's Chamber. It's built entirely from granite blocks transported from Aswan, over 500 miles away. But what's more shocking is the acoustics. Clap your hands in the chamber and the echo lingers unnaturally. Researchers discovered the room resonates at a frequency of 440 Hz, the exact frequency used in tuning modern musical instruments. Coincidence? Maybe. But many cultures have long believed certain frequencies influence human consciousness. Even stranger is the Grand Gallery, a long ascending corridor that leads to the King's Chamber. Its sloped ceiling, corbelled walls, and echo chamber acoustics led some to believe it served a ritual purpose. Others, though, have a different theory, one that veers deep into mystery territory. In the 1990s, engineer Christopher Dunn proposed that the pyramid may have been more than just a tomb. He suggested it was a kind of ancient machine, specifically a power plant. According to his theory, the combination of specific materials, geometries, and underground water flow beneath the pyramid could have produced energy, possibly in the form of microwave or vibrational resonance. Dunn pointed to the high levels of quartz in the granite, a mineral known to generate piezoelectricity when compressed or vibrated. Most mainstream scholars dismiss this, but that's the pattern with the pyramids: dismissal before explanation. Because while we know how the blocks were placed is in question, the why is even more elusive. There are no writings inside the Great Pyramid. No hieroglyphs. No tomb murals. Nothing to say, "Here lies the king." And here's where the story takes another turn. In 2017, scientists used a technique called cosmic ray muon radiography to scan the pyramid's internal structure. What they found made headlines: a massive hidden void above the Grand Gallery. A cavity over 100 feet long, completely sealed off, untouched for thousands of years. What's inside it? No one knows. No way in. No way to see. Just a dark space hanging inside one of the most scrutinized structures on Earth. This revelation reignited old questions. Was this chamber hidden on purpose? Is it empty, or does it hold some relic, some message from a civilization that knew far more than we've given it credit for? Some speculate it could be a relief chamber, designed to take pressure off the structure. Others aren't so sure. The alignment, size, and concealment suggest intention, not accident. And if it was just structural, why not replicate it elsewhere? Why keep it hidden? There's also the fact that the pyramid once had a polished white limestone casing. Imagine that. A gleaming, blinding white mountain rising from the desert floor. Some said it could be seen for miles. Others believe it acted as a beacon, or something more. Ancient Arabic texts refer to the Great Pyramid as a storehouse of knowledge. Legends claim it once held maps of the stars, advanced tools, even blueprints of lost civilizations. Of course, these are just stories. But sometimes stories persist because they carry slivers of truth. Back in the early 20th century, a mysterious figure named Hamid Bey claimed to have entered a secret chamber beneath the pyramid, accessed through tunnels known only to a few. He described hieroglyphs that glowed faintly, and relics unlike anything found elsewhere in Egypt. His claims were written off as fantasy, until, in the 1990s, seismic surveys picked up evidence of empty spaces beneath the Sphinx and the nearby pyramids. Which brings us to the final layer of this mystery. The pyramid complex, Giza, aligns almost perfectly with the constellation Orion. The three pyramids mirror the three stars in Orion's belt. Some believe this was done on purpose, tying into the Egyptian god Osiris, god of the afterlife. Others see a more cosmic message, a marker perhaps, or a clock. In recent years, alternative historians have even proposed that the pyramids weren't built during Khufu's reign, but are much older, possibly dating back to a lost civilization. There's no conclusive evidence, but erosion patterns on the Sphinx and surrounding enclosure suggest water damage. Heavy, persistent rain, the kind Egypt hasn't seen in thousands of years. If that's true, the pyramids may be older than the Sahara Desert itself. Which forces us to ask, if the pyramids weren't built by the Egyptians we know from textbooks, then who? Maybe we'll never fully know. Maybe that's the point. The Great Pyramid isn't just a monument, it's a riddle. A challenge across time. A reminder that not all knowledge is ours yet, and not all mysteries are meant to be solved. But one thing is certain, we haven't cracked the code. Not yet. And every time a new scan reveals another hidden chamber or a new theory uncovers a deeper alignment, we're reminded that sometimes the past knew things we've only just begun to rediscover. Was it a tomb? A temple? A time capsule? Or was it something we haven't even imagined yet? Theories abound. Some say aliens, others say Atlanteans. But maybe the truth is even stranger. That human beings once, long ago, were capable of things we now consider science fiction. Stone cut with laser-like precision. Complex astronomical alignments. Hidden chambers filled with air older than any known record. And above all, a sense of purpose that goes beyond simple burial. Even ancient Egyptian priests spoke of knowledge passed down from the stars, of gods who descended and shared secrets with man. Were those myths, or misunderstood history? To this day, the Great Pyramid remains the most measured, scanned, and examined monument in history. And yet, for all that scrutiny, its deepest truths remain hidden. Perhaps it was built as a beacon for future civilizations, a message across the ages. Look what we once were, look what you can become. Or maybe it was meant to remain unsolved. A reminder that mystery itself has value, that not everything should be reduced to equations and carbon dates. Because at its core, the pyramid does what few structures ever have. It humbles us. It dares us to ask, how much do we really know? And how much are we still just beginning to understand? What if there are technologies we've lost, methods of building and planning and measuring that existed before our current cycle of civilization? Some researchers suggest the possibility of a pre-Ice Age society with knowledge far beyond what we associate with that time. If the pyramid predates this cataclysm, could it be a lone survivor of an earlier epoch? Consider this. Ancient traditions across the world, from the Mayans to the Sumerians, all speak of a great flood. What if these are fractured memories of a real event, a global disaster that reset humanity? The pyramid, with its enormous size and durability, could have been designed not just to survive, but to endure, waiting until we were ready to understand it. Then there's the math. The height of the pyramid multiplied by a specific factor gives us the polar radius of the Earth. The base, when divided by twice its height, gives us pi. Coincidence? Perhaps. But these numerical alignments, repeated throughout the pyramid's proportions, hint at a knowledge of geodesy, astronomy, and physics that supposedly didn't exist at the time. Author and researcher Graham Hancock often says, "We are a species with amnesia." The pyramid may be the clearest reminder of that, a structure so advanced, so deliberate, that its very existence challenges the timeline of our past. When you walk through its shadows, you're not just walking through history. You're brushing against a message, one left in stone by hands we may never identify, for reasons we may never fully grasp. Yet the questions remain. They echo louder than ever, because as our technology improves, so does our awareness of how much more there is to discover. The mystery of the pyramid isn't just in its construction, it's in its defiance. It refuses to be explained away. It asks for more. And maybe, just maybe, it waits for someone willing to listen.